A very good evening to everyone. A very warm welcome to Keynote and Vision Address Session 7 and 8. Let me introduce the session chairman, Professor Ravi Puvaya. Professor Ravi Puvaya is Emeritus Fellow and a Senior Faculty Member at IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay. His research interests are in areas related to visual language, information visualization, visual narratives, interaction devices, collaborative learning environments, and designing play-learn environments for children. He is now coordinating the implementation of design thinking and innovation in school curriculum in India. I now request Professor Ravi Puvaya, Senior Faculty Member at IDC School of Design, to be the session chairman for session 7 and 8. Sir, please welcome. Over to you, sir.
Thanks so much, Veena. Very warm welcome to Professor Sreekumar, Sree to me. He is a colleague and a senior faculty member teaching communication design at IDC School of Design at IIT Bombay. He's got lots of expertise, especially in the areas of typography, type, calligraphy, publication design, information graphics, even anatomy and life drawing. These are his favorite subjects. Prior to IIT Bombay, he's had a lot of professional experience, first at Jasubhai Digital Media, Intelligent Investor, the Indian Express, the Independent and the Metropolis, Bombay Times, Doordarshan, Trivandrum. He's also the advisory board of Typography Day right from its inception in 2009. Over to you, Sree.
Thank you. Good evening. Namaste to all of you. It's indeed my pleasure and honor to be a part of Typography Day. So today is about the theme of designing for children. I will be sharing with you one project I did in 2010. This is India's most famous children's magazine called Chandamama. So most of the people from my generation and above, we were born and brought up with Chandamama as a very most important visual stimuli for our growth. There was not even a day where we didn't look at this magazine together. So this started in 1946. And for the first time in their history, they decided to do a redesign. So I'll just start my presentation. It was a very interesting learning experience for me also. So this is one image which is from this magazine called Chandamama. Ever since they started, for Vikram and Vetal story. This is there from their first edition in 1946, first month to the latest one. So this is one image which is memorable to people from different generations. Every issue had around 5 pages of the story, and the first page started with this. So this 5-page story always started with this image in the beginning and ended with this on the 5th page. This started in 1946. It was published in 13 Indian languages and plus English. The one you see on the screen now, this is a cover of one of their editions dated 1953. So all the Indian language editions were in A5, slightly bigger than A5, small size, but only the English edition was in bigger size, approximately closer to A4. So when I met them for the first time, this is the cover they showed me. So I realized, okay, so this is the time, this is from where we need to improve. This is dated 2008. Now, before we started the redesign process, the management, it was a new management, they had bought the rights of this magazine from the original owners and they were starting fresh. So they shared this market survey results with me. It was a study conducted among regular readers, lapsed readers, and aware but non-readers of the magazine all over India. Approximately 2000 interviews they conducted not only with children but parents also, because parent is the one who's going to spend money buying the magazine. This study, they did a very interesting thing is they studied, they had interviews with a lot of children from non-urban background. So there are a lot of feedback kind of people. Some of them were, the parents, many of them felt it was good value for money, but the ease of reading separate sections was criticized a lot. The pictures, the way photographs were reproduced, a lot of readers were unhappy about it. Color schemes were not very popular with the parents or the authors, but more or less they agreed the quality of the magazine was okay but not great. Then I looked specifically at children and the way children respond to design decisions, and I started listening to many of these interviews they had with children of different ages, and it was very interesting that they don't know design terminology, but still they were pointing out a lot of specific design decisions. For example, many of them said we need space. So they don't know what exactly is a grid or what exactly is figure and ground and all that in design terms. But many of them mentioned about space. And this I'm talking about children between the age of 12 to 15, 10 to 15. Then many of them mentioned this is very old style. So it was an interesting trigger for me to think in their terms. They mentioned crowded. There were a lot of criticism about lettering, the way letters are used in this magazine. Then many of them mentioned the design is not very playful. And some of them said, use the word complicated. All the words which you are seeing in the slide just now, they are from actual statements from children. Now, I tried to learn more about what are the problems of existing design. So we start with the masthead. Masthead is the logo, main logo, the way the magazine's name is written. It was looking very outdated. It was too formal. It couldn't relate to children, and it was not eye-catching. So this is the logo they used. I think it is Times Roman, but in Photoshop they had used select, modify, expand, and all kind of things. So there is not much of there is no cuteness or there is no relationship with children at all. Then the overall cover design was very blank. It didn't inform much about what is inside, and it was a very inconsistent typography. You can see the most hated font in the history of mankind, Arial, being used for the title Mystery of the Missing Man. Then comes the other problems. The pages, there are 7 sections in the magazine, but all of them, the design look very different because no consistent guidelines for designing of them. There are too many fonts and background images were interfering with main content. So these are some of the section headers in this magazine at that time before redesign. For example, India's heritage sites, it is a section of the magazine. Science fair is one section. It will be having around 5-6 pages. Like that, there are many sections for this magazine. But if you look carefully, you will see they appear like to be different units of different magazines. They don't look like part of one family. The columns were very wide. There are too many words per line. Normally in an English language, the unwritten code in typography is not more than 9 words in a line. But they had 14, 15, up to 20 words in a line. So now if you can look at this, you can see that it doesn't look like a children's magazine at all. And some of the lines have more than 20 words in a line, it is considered to be a crime in typography. There are a lot of all caps headlines with unnecessary visual effects, and Times Roman as body copy was like unthinkable at that time. So you can see it is really, really scary and old style, and nobody will agree that this will appeal to children. So I found more than 25 fonts used in that magazine. 25 I could identify. There can be much more. So what I did is I reduced them to 5. So now the redesign process is that we need to develop a viewpoint. So the viewpoint, so I was in constant discussions with the editor and all the editorial board members in that magazine. And every week I used to touch base with them and talk to them about how do we go about the redesign process. So I shared this with them. The new design is aimed at making a child not only to read, but also to feel and act up. For example, we tell them about a story with a moral, so they need to feel about it. We talk about things like sustainability or something to do with nature. Then we encourage the reader to do something, to make a craft, make a toy, or things like that. So another important part of any redesign, any design process is that we need to articulate the qualities of our end product. So after a lot of discussions with the editorial and management, we finalized on this that it should be elegant, readability should be improved, there should be a very clear visual structure in the magazine, levels of information should be very comfortable and presented with clarity, breathing space is needed in all the pages. And that was a time when their management was diversifying into different media. For example, radio, television, some road shows, and things like that. So we needed to have this print media product as a kind of a platform to encourage participation across media, website, and things like that. So then we studied a lot about the mindset of the audience across based on the market survey. And we try to figure out what are the, in our culture, what are the icons which trigger a sense of happiness or something to make with friendly and joyful feel among children. Of course, school holiday is the first thing comes to your mind when you think about how to make a child happy. But there are a lot of other icons like butterfly, rainbow, different colors, water, flowers, and animation, movement, things like that. They're very interesting triggers for children. So my design philosophy here was that subtle, elegant design aimed at bringing the content to the front of the stage. Present the content in a clean, efficient manner with enough hints at what the section or a story is all about. The challenge in front of any publication designer when we design a magazine or a newspaper is that we need to be silent and really at backstage. The designer's job is to take the content to the audience without being visible. So I worked out on different set of grids and finalized on a 12-column basic grid. It gave an overall unity in design, but even in that, it gives flexibility and had enough scope to do experiments. So this is the basic grid. You will see one ticker down. It is like a news ticker you'll see in many of the news channels. So a lot of interesting snippets and things like that will go in this ticker line throughout the magazine. The remaining space is the one which is used for other elements of the page. So a basic 12-column grid gave me an option to use 3 columns, then a modular grid, 1 thin column and 2 wide columns. So I have a sidebar column also. Then I have a 4-column grid also. And after trying out so many sets of fonts, I narrowed down to 4 of them. So from 25, around 30 fonts they were using, I narrowed down to 4. And then the one of the important part of a magazine design project is to get the logo established as per the overall design philosophy of the magazine. So how do you make a logo which is elegant, graceful, as well as appealing to children? So I selected this font called Barmenu. It was very cuddly and appeared to be very child friendly. So it was informal, it was contemporary, it was elegant, child-friendly, happy. It had a happy feeling, but it was eye-catching also, and it was a very unique font. So what you see on the right is the shortlisted one. I tried many other fonts also. And this is designed by a very interesting personality called Hans Reichel. He was a German guitarist, musician, and a type designer, and is an inventor also. He has invented a very interesting musical instrument called the saxophone. And in between 10 years, he took a break from music and learned font design. And these are the fonts he has designed in his life. Very interesting personality. So this is the new masthead, the redesigned masthead. So on top of the masthead, I added one more box which had some more information about. They were starting with a CD and things like that, and then I added the website ID also. So overall, there is a feeling of much information being given rather than the plain title of the magazine. So this is the old one. What you see on top is the old one. What you're seeing down is the redesigned one. So this is how it looked like. And on the left side, you will see a listing of all the important stories coming in that particular month. And the page number is very clearly marked there. So once you buy the magazine, if you are interested in the story of Krishna, you can directly go to page number 22. So the overall logo type had more a unique appeal, and there was more contrast. And this is how it looked like in another illustration. So on the left side, you are seeing the old one. On the right side, you are seeing the new one. So these are the way in which 3 main stories will be highlighted. So now I'll come to the credited line box and the editorial. So this is a redesigned version of the editorial page, and it has for around 1/3 of the page is given for credits. It gives you the name of the chairman, editorial advisor, all the details of the staff, circulation team, all those things are in a compact way on the left. The remaining 2/3 is used for the editorial. On top, you will see a rainbow. I'll explain it soon. And the butterfly you are seeing as a watermark at the right side bottom, actually, it changes position every month. So what you're seeing today, just now, is the January edition. And next month, it moves up. So by the time you are in December, this butterfly will be on top, just below that word, a promise. So this kind of, playful things, many of these things we tried out. So there is a bell, the image of one bell in India and Indian history. So that also, the bell comes down every month. So all this kind of things we tried out during that time. So this is a visual element we have borrowed from television, that new sticker, it goes on throughout the magazine. Then a rainbow. So as all of you know, the rainbow is something which is very fascinating to children. And when the editor told me that there are 7 sections in the magazine, immediately it rang a bell inside me. Why not we link this concept of 7 sections to 7 colors of the rainbow? So I established 7 colors of the rainbow with each section of the magazine. So the labels from the cover, content page, web page, everything are tied together through this color coding. So history section will always be in green. There is a website or a content page or the cover story or page numbering or printed edition everywhere. So it gave us a good navigation tool. So these are the 7 sections, all redesigned and standardized. So everything looks like part of one family. Now, the interesting thing is in a magazine, when you hold the magazine and if you can push it like this and look at it from the sides, the advantage of having this rainbow, all pages are, in a sequence, you can literally see a rainbow on the side. So we tried to standardize and we decided that all the headlines will have fonts from just 2 families, that's all. There is a conscious effort in using ideal line length and the selection of fonts. So if you look carefully, the text tab setting is also carefully done so that there is no ugly white space anywhere in the text setting. So this is the content page before it was redesigned. So it really looks like something coming from the 1960s instead of 2000. Now you will see, again, you will see the old one and the new one. What you see on the left side is the old editorial page. What you're seeing on the right side is the new editorial page with enough breathing space and we tried out to get an elegant and graceful feel. This is a content page on the left side you're seeing. So the small circles next to the story is actually, it is color coded. This is called the mailbag. Mailbag is actually readers' letters. The time had come that time that most of the readers' letters actually were not written and posted in there, but it came in email. So I redesigned the logo of mailbag itself to accommodate that email feel to it. And I told them, let us at least give one prize to the best letter of the month. So they agreed to that, and we started giving one special prize to the child who writes the best letter of the month. So here also what you see on the left is the old one, what you see on the right side is a new design. Okay, again, India's heritage sites. On the left side is the old design, on the right side is a new design. This is the redesigned version of, on the left side is the old design of Vikram and Mehta. On the right side is the new design, and every issue we will have some white space given on top. So the page doesn't look cluttered at all. Left side is the old one, right side, all the pages will have a nice looking white empty space on the edge towards the edge. So here you can see the difference. India Scope is a very interesting column in the section in this magazine where we give a lot of interesting facts about India. So on the right side, what you're seeing is a redesigned one. And this artifact you're seeing behind O, the letter O, actually that keeps changing its position. It comes down a little bit like that. So this is around 4th month, so by March, April, it is like this. This is a tech corner. This is news flash. This is the Chandamama quiz. This was very, very popular among children. So this is the redesigned version of Kaleidoscope. It is all these things in Kaleidoscope is sent by children to the magazine. They all are contributed by children. These are the puzzle pages. This is the humor section. So you will see on the right side, there is some sense of logic applied and some clarity, and complicated look is removed in that. This is the old one and this is the new one. So the sidebar on the right side is used for pull quotes or blurbs. This is a book review. This is a section called Science Fair. Again, from the new edition, different pages optioned from Indiascope. The content page. This is a special story section in every month we have one special story section. So after the new edition was released, so normally what I do with many of these magazine redesign projects is first 3 editions I do a hand holding with their staff. So the management was gracious enough to share all the user feedback with me. And many of them were handwritten notes, on paper, which was sent by students. And I was very, very shocked when I read children using the term breathing space. And they said there was a feeling of freedom when they looked at all the pages. And more or less, I think they were unanimous in saying that the white background made much more comfort. They felt comfortable with the white background. It was also all these things which I learned from these children are big surprises for me, because I never thought they will be so sensitive about fonts and the grid structures and all these things. And many of them wrote about the sense of breathing space or white space in the new edition of the magazine. I would like to thank everybody who helped me with this project. These are the 4 fonts I designed. I want to thank the designers of all these fonts. And one of the important takeaways of doing this project was I got to meet Mr. Shankar, who joined that organization as an illustrator in 1947. He was alive at that time when I went to do the redesign. So he is the person who made these 2 illustrations. Even at that time, he was very keen to come to office every day, 5 days a week. That time itself, he passed away 3 years back during the epidemic. And I was very fortunate to meet him, interact with him, and see his work. He gifted me a drawing he has made. And first time when I met him, he told me that the kind of work people do, he makes a black and white drawing, and the other artists make this Photoshop work on his work. And many of his drawings were spoiled by others putting a lot of this backgrounds on his images. He was very unhappy about it. So in the redesign version, I removed all these backgrounds. So I still remember when I met him for the first time after the redesign, he came and hugged me and said that it's a great thing you have done by removing the background. Now his illustrations are actually looking like what he wanted it to. And I want to pay my respects to our mentor, Professor R.K. Joshi, who gave us the inspiration to do all kind of work in the field of typography. Because of him, we started this conference itself. And these are my contact details. Anybody in this audience who wants to get in touch with me, you are most welcome to write to me. I will stop here and take questions now.
Thanks, Sri, for that beautiful presentation.
Most welcome, sir.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. It would be such a treat for students because you not only went through the design process, but also the details that are required to do something like this.
Thank you.
Very nicely explained, Sri.
Thank you.
And also, I think there are some really nice things that you brought out. The play of the elements that you brought in, the butterfly, the rainbow. I think these are very interesting structures. The use of the colors of the rainbow.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they add so much of value to children. And of course, you're always sensitive to design and typography. So that's what your contribution has been. Okay, so thanks so much. I have a question, okay,
Yes.
which is also very interesting because you use the user feedback as a starting point. Really nice. Okay, so now I have this question: what happens to the other languages? How are they taking this to other languages?
They were planning to redesign all the other languages one by one.
Okay. Would
After
they follow your same philosophy or structure? Would they follow or?
Yeah. No, I was supposed to do it. Philosophy same, but the size is all different.
Right.
So we were planning to do another redesign for the other 12 languages where it is going to be a smaller size, but that time we were planning the same grid structure for 12 languages, but the typographical style book will be different because each language, leading and point size will all be different. But that didn't happen because that time they wanted to create 2 coffee table books.
Okay.
For the illustrators, they had 7 illustrators from 1947 to 2008, and the public didn't know about them. So after I suggested, they decided to publish 2 books dedicated to this 7 artists.
Okay.
So then they asked me to design those 2 books. By the time we finished those books, it came to the market. Then we were planning to do the 12 Indian language. Then they sold it to Walt Disney and then they didn't take the magazines forward.
Oh, okay. So now it's with Walt Disney. But does it have the same
No.
design of yours or
No.
they changed it?
They changed it, and now I heard they sold it to someone else. But now the magazine is not available in the market anymore.
Oh, it stopped.
Yeah.
What
Last
is
5 years, I have not seen it happen. Because
it was such a dear
it
magazine
was such
for all
an
of us.
iconic, yes, it was an iconic product.
Sreekumar, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Sreekumar. Lovely presentation of a lovely project.
Thank you.
Now that you talk about the very sad demise of Chanda Mama, which I wasn't, my question was not part of that, but I wanted to talk about this also. It got bought off by Walt Disney, right?
Yeah.
And when Ram Mohan was alive, the animator Ram Mohan, and we used to have all these discussions in the auditorium. We'd have all these conferences, seminars, meetings, etc. And Ram Mohan would decry the idea of the Disneyfication of our images, especially in animation. This Disneyfication of images worldwide.
Worldwide.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when you've seen one, you've seen all in terms of you're just looking at the story after that, okay?
Yeah.
And it's a very aggressive move to unify, to make it uniform, because then you'll only think of Walt Disney. It's a great marketing thing, right? So I'm wondering if, and then through that, Ram Mohan was able to bring in a particular, paradigmatic understanding of what it is to be vernacular, Indian, etc. I know Shilpa and others have all tried to apply these idioms, right? Because Shilpa is primarily an illustrator, so they have fought hard to keep that going. Now I'm asking you, Sreekumar, do you think it was deliberate that Walt Disney bought it off simply to ease out something as precious as this? Because these were cultural artifacts. I'm not saying somebody sat at a board meeting and said, let's be done with it. But, like a subliminal thing, because anything that is vernacular and strong in India unites the people. You said Chanda Mama, nobody, at least I don't think in the audience anybody is going to say, sir, what is Chanda Mama? Right? So it is just a question. I'm not expecting you to answer. I'm just parking it so that is not the fate reached by other things in future, So that is one. But outside of that, Sreekumar, the butterfly that you had moving from bottom to top indicates time, right?
Yeah.
A very nice way to show something as complex as time for children. Because in our solar project also, because we had this Indo-European, Indo-UK collaboration, remember the difficult concept of time lag between countries, UK being 5.5 hours away in winter when we were doing this project. So how do you explain that? And we're always trying to figure, time is very abstract. Space is okay, you can do a map, but time you can't. So the butterfly moving, now through that, indirectly, you also taught the child to understand the calendar, right?
Yes.
And in the process, actually, you can bring in very subliminal cues about the months. कि एक महीना में एक जो festival होती है तो वो icon डाल सकते हैं ना? You can
yes. We even thought about their annual special edition.
Right.
So we wanted to start the caterpillar at the right hand side bottom.
Wow.
And when you go to page 40, it has become a butterfly.
A butterfly.
Yeah.
And then it stays as a butterfly.
Yes.
So that means
we did all kind of things like that.
Because before the caterpillar, there is also that cocoon, no? So
yes. All those things are there. And then there is one edition we tried this like a flip book. If you flip the top right place, there is a cat running,
Oh, right. Nice. Excellent.
All these things they considered it very naughty, So.
Excellent. And a child. But Sreekumar, yesterday, when you were there, you were chairing the session for the first speaker, Ratna. Yeah. And we're talking about storytelling and images and all that. And I wanted to mention that increasingly every year, book fairs are actually becoming bigger, not smaller, around the world.
Yes.
Around the world.
Yes.
Not just in places like Calcutta, which anyway had big book fairs. I'm not even talking about that. So what does that say? It says that the book is alive and well and kicking.
Yes.
Right. So designers like you who have been working on a book and children's book that too, you have to keep on thinking new ways, Sreekumar. Never think that it's all iPad, it's all tablet, it's all nothing. Absolutely nothing. It is a book. One more thing, Sreekumar. The illustrators issued 2 coffee table books. Are they available?
Not now, but I think I have kept a copy in IDC library.
Okay.
But
not both the copies, not both of them.
I think both of them. I'll have to check.
Can we buy these books? Are they still available?
No. It is not available now.
Okay.
But they gave me a chance to see their archives.
Okay.
So I could hold it in my hands. The illustrations done in 1946.
Oh.
And they are covered with a tracing sheet and all that.
Oh.
And the black ink they used in 1946 is as dark or better than the one which we have now.
So, Sreekumar, we can discuss later. I don't want to monopolize the time. Just one more thing. Why don't you, I can help you in this because we were archiving things for the Ministry of Culture. We were digitizing, helping them to digitize. In the process, we did the information architecture and all that. Why not pass it on to them? They'll be very happy. It becomes part, it becomes open source, or at least let it come to DSource or something. So it stays.
I wanted to. I told them to donate it to IDC, but now nobody knows who is the owner. It is a Chennai office. Yeah.
So, Sreekumar, you have to find out in the next 2, 3, 4 months.
Yeah.
And you let us know. And we can digitize and put it on DSource.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So thanks, Sreekumar.
Thanks, Sri. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It is my pleasure.